Hey YouTube, how's it going? So right today we got a first ride on the 2017 Harley Davidson Street Rod 750. So if you're familiar with the street lineup, this is a newer brandish of the Harley Davidson. It's not a Sportster, it's pre-Sportster. I think they kind of made this for the going after the market of the Jigsters and the Ninjas and stuff. It's not nearly as fast as those, but I think they're trying to get some of the people that ride those type of bikes, the sport bike people, into the Harley Davidson family. So what this is a 750 V-twin. It's differently geared as from the normal 750 to give it more power. This is a newer generation of the street family. It's got a 3.5 gallon fuel tank, the bar end mirrors, looks like it has ABS on it. You could go to the Harley website and get the specs yourself for this. I don't know a whole lot about these, but I was at the dealership and asked it take it for a test ride. I gotta say, I like the orange shocks. I think that looks kind of cool. They could have done some orange, more orange, because it kind of just, sticks out a little bit, but that's all right. High output 750. It's radiated, has a fan for cooling, passenger pegs, big old muffler on it. One side note with this bike is when I got it from the dealership, they said that you had to turn it off to put it in neutral. And they are absolutely right. If this bike is in the on position, you cannot hit neutral. I have no clue why they did that. That was just silly. Rider stance on this is a whole lot different from a cruiser. You are not sitting up relaxed. You are pushed forward. You're not hitting the tank with your crotch or anything, but you are pushed forward. You're leaning against your hands. Speedometer. You got your miles. Trip A, trip B. So, this bike has 9 miles on it. You have a clock, a gear, and RPM, and back to your miles again. So this, again, like the Sportster family, does not have a gas gauge, which I guess is okay. It does have a locking gas cap. This would be your... Okay, so that turned on the fuel. I don't know what that does. Oh, there's your start. Okay. Horn, high beams. And unlike Harley, this has the turn signals on one side only. So you turn it on, and then you push the button to turn them off. This does not have self-canceling turn signals on it. Clutch, brake. I don't believe... Oh, it does have dual disc brakes up front. Looks like dual calipers even. And these are... I think they're not even a mid-mount control. It's like pushed back more than a normal mid-mount control. So let's take it for a ride. And put my visor down. Now when you ride this, you're hugging, your legs are gonna hug this tank. Now I'm 5'8.5", and I sit flat-footed on this with just a little bit of room to move up and down with. Now this exhaust is touching my leg, and I am all the way out. So keep that in mind, that when you ride this bike, you may want to just not do that. Put that foot down or something. It looks like it has a peg or some kind of thing for you to put your heel on, If you miss that, your heel's going to be touching this exhaust system. So that's another side note to think about too. This does have quite a bit of pull to it. I can tell that it's geared differently. This feels really weird. You know, I'm used to the cruiser style of sitting back. I'm not used to pushing in on my... It's not super uncomfortable. It's torquey. Even in third gear, yeah, it's got some power to it. Oh, again, so no self-canceling turn signals. I had to shut that off. It doesn't feel too terrible. I don't like this part though. Wind's not too terribly pushing me around. There's not much buffering with the wind though. You have this little fairing, but it's not doing a whole lot. Wind's hitting me right in the chest. The bar end mirrors are nicer than I expected them to be. I don't see my arms at all. I can see right around me. So that's pretty cool. Your feet position is very awkward with this. I'll explain that here in a minute. The right side of your foot is, your heel is resting on the exhaust like I showed, but your left foot doesn't have anywhere to go. It's got the one peg only, nothing for your heel. So it's a really weird feeling. You feel like your left foot is not in the right spot, even though it is. See what engine braking's like. Engine braking is really nice. Surprised by that. I'm kind of hard to find the brake, the rear brake. And that could just be because I'm not used to this particular bike. Very, very quiet. You would think that big old muffler back there, the exhaust system, would be a little more noisy than it is, but it's not. It's a very quiet bike. I don't know much about aftermarket parts since this is a brand new product from this line. And like he said, no matter what you do, you cannot find neutral. It will not go into neutral until you turn it off. Very odd. Why would they do that? And there it is, neutral. And I found it very easily once the bike was turned off. I'll show you what I'm talking about with this kickstand, or with so right here you have the one peg, you know, which is okay. You know, it wasn't too terrible. I was able to find. I wish it came out a little further. But on this side, you have your foot like this. So you guys know what I'm talking about? You have a place to put your heel, whereas the other side you don't. So it just feels weird. And that is a big muffler for being so quiet, I tell you what. Do another walk around real quick. Now, who would I classify to own this bike? What kind of rider? Obviously, it's not going to be your average Harley Davidson rider, your cruiser, badass kind of rider. Oh, he missed the tag, didn't he? You know, you are not relaxed. You're pushed forward and leaning against your palms, you know, and I've only been on it, you know, 5 or 10 minutes, so I can't say comfort. You know, I don't get to ride this bike for half the day, so I don't know how it would feel in the long run. I do like the stance of this though. It looks cool. It really looks cool. When the 750 and the 500 streets originally came out, I thought they were the ugliest things in creation, but this looks like a cool bike. They've done a great job in cleaning up the wires. The original 750, or the original streets in general, just looked hideous with the wiring. They did a crappy job with the wires. It's like it was just thrown on there just to get the product out the door. But you can tell that Harley redesigned this with a little more care. Everything's tucked away a little better. Everything's, you know, ran a little nicer. Fit and finish, you know, you hear that word occasionally on the internet. You know, the paint, the wiring, how the bike flows. The fit and finish on this bike has much more care than the original streets. I have to give Harley credit where credit's due on that. But like I was saying, who would buy this bike? You know, I think anybody, this is my own personal opinion, I'm not a spokesperson for Harley, and I've only been riding a few years myself, but I think somebody that was looking for the Sportster lineup, that wanted something with some power to it, you know, maybe not freeway riding, you know, interstate riding, but maybe somebody that just wanted to take from, you know, in a city and just have a lot of fun, like a bar hopper. This could be a bike for them. Street rod. But your legs will touch that exhaust system when you're parked. See what it idles around. Overall, I gotta say, I kind of like it. I don't necessarily think that I would buy this bike, but it would be a good bike for, you know, someone, like I said, just hopping around town and like a daily commuter. It's not going very far, nothing on the highway. You know, this isn't a 70-mile-an-hour bike, you know, at distances for sure. But this placement of these pegs are not very good in my personal opinion. I have to put my leg way up here, and it hurts. It hurts the joint in my leg being this high up. So take her back to the Harley dealership. That engine brake is really nice, but your legs will straddle this gas tank. Now, I have never ridden a sport bike. I don't know much about them, so I know that in the next couple of months, or in May, the Suzuki and Yamaha will have free test rides in Indianapolis that I'm going to. So I'll be really curious how this bike performs compared to like an FZ07. You know, I don't think this is in the same class as the Yamaha FZ09, but definitely an FZ07 from specs are concerned. Maybe an R3. I don't believe this bike can keep up with an R6, but you know, I have not ridden one. It's just from what I've read on YouTube or watched on YouTube. I mean, it's got some torque, but nothing like what you would experience on a Super Sport. Like I said, this is a fun bike. You know, I'm having a good time on it. These drag bars make it very flickable. You just, you know, push in the direction that you want to go and it goes right along. These are brand new tires with 10 miles on them, so I'm obviously not going to go, you know, stressing them out and get myself in a jam on a bike I'm just test riding. You have to be a pretty good sized person. I think, you know, like I said, I'm 5'8" and a half-ish, but you could not be any shorter than me on this bike. Oh, this is messing me up with these turn signals. Oh, there's the darn blinkers. It reminds me of I like to watch a guy called Blockhead. If you've never checked out his stuff, go check out Blockhead. But he has recently had a jingle playing through his videos. Blinker, blinker, blinker. I left you on all day. Blinker, blinker, blinker. Why won't you go away? Because he picked up an R6 and it doesn't have self-canceling blinkers apparently, and he keeps forgetting to turn those off. I think if I were to pick up this bike, I would have that same issue. Props out for Blockhead for putting that jingle in my mind. I don't know. This is obviously Harley's attempt to reach out to the newer generation of people, for, you know, that are sport bike enthusiasts. Well, I can't say it's the first attempt. This is what the original Street should have been to begin with. I think that the Street lineup, the 500 and the 750 were rushed, and they produced a subpar product. And this is, if they would have taken their time a little more, this is probably what they would have came out with, or more closely similar to it. It's hard to get throttle control though. This thing is really jerky. I barely touch it. I don't know if you can tell. It's really jerking me around until you actually get into the gear. I think throttle management is desired by Harley. If I remember right, when the FZs came out from Yamaha, they had the same issue. Just, oh God, really jerky. Unless you're getting on it and switching gears, there's no subtle movement. You're either on or you're off. So I mean, that's the downside of this bike. I'm sure it can be fixed with some kind of update. So yeah, overall impressions of this bike are not too terrible. You know, like I mentioned before, this isn't really my type of bike, but I wanted to get a test ride out there for you guys anyway, because I'm wanting to do a whole lot more test rides this year. Get some content up for you guys to watch, because I know those are my favorite type of videos. Once again, to get it in neutral, I have to turn it off, which is stupid. There I am, neutral. Ouch, that hurt. Yeah, they gotta do something with that pipe. My leg hit it and it kind of burnt. So again, Street 750 by the Street Rod, Harley Davidson Street Rod, 2017. Thanks for watching.